we have another wonderful interview for you. He is no stranger to the community. He has done some of the foundational work from making sure platforms like Black Gay Weddings can and will be seen in our community and abroad. He is the CEO and founder of iN-Hale Entertainment, and it is none other than Nathan Hale Williams. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to sit down with Black Gay Weddings. As we've discussed, you are someone that I consider personally a pioneer within our community in making sure that the visibility is seen locally and abroad with the content that you create. So it is an honor to have you with us here. So we're going to jump right into it. You ready?
Thank you. And it's an honor for me to be here. And so thank you for the kind words.
Absolutely. So what do platforms like Black Gay Weddings mean to our community from your perspective?
Well, visibility and representation really, really matter, particularly for Black gay people, Black LGBTQ people. I'm in my 40s, and growing up, we didn't have many images at all of people that were like us, that looked like us, that acted like us, that identified as us. And so it was very difficult to find representation and visible, role models of what was possible. And particularly with something like Black Gay Weddings, I've always believed in marriage, and but when I was growing up and knowing that I was gay, it was not something that I thought was ever going to be an option. And I find that still within our community, it is because we don't see a lot of Black gay couples, unfortunately. Something like Black Gay Weddings is so essential to just our overall health of our community, because we see something, a different aspect of what living could be like, which is in holy matrimony.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And it's very true. It's very, very true. I think bringing the stories, the inspiration, and the examples to the forefront then allows the generations behind us to not have to have it so hard as people our age. I totally agree with you in that aspect. Where do you find inspiration for your storytelling?
From life, I can literally be walking my dog, and something happens, and I have, an inspiration for something. But the through line for all of the projects that I've ever done, all of the projects I will ever do, is that they have to have some kind of social, political, economic impact or message, right? Mm-hmm. So I really believe in creating things that, give that kind of message, but with, I call it, a spoonful of sugar, which is entertainment. And so, I've talked about everything from coming out to HIV and AIDS and the Black heterosexual community to now my current film, Burden, which is about the micro and macroaggressions and bias that we as men of color face, no matter who we are. And then my next film that's done and it's coming out, we're releasing the trailer later this month, is on the homeless crisis here in LA, which is the epicenter of the epidemic. So I try to do things that matter to me, and I try to be inspired by walking through life, but they all have some kind of social justice or that kind of an impact. But I like to do it in an entertaining way.
That's good. That's really good that it's not, I think sometimes we pigeonhole ourselves with just one realm of communication. But in terms of, you're looking at it and holistically, homelessness, HIV and AIDS, like all of these things, affect our community as a whole. And so we need to shed light on all of those things. It doesn't necessarily always need to be about sex, or it doesn't necessarily always need to be about individuality in that aspect, but all of these things impact our community. That is incredibly powerful.
Well, thank you. One thing is so funny. I just literally wrote my first sex scene ever, right? And I've been doing this for a while. And it's a new series that I'm writing based on my novel. And it felt like a virgin. I felt like a virgin because I was a virgin, a screenwriter. And I was like, well, what do I write? You know what I mean? Because I've never had sex in any of my things. Yeah. But, it's time for a little bit of grown folks stuff, just a little bit.
I'm sure your fans are, and your supporters are waiting for it at this aspect. But I think it's interesting that you were able to kind of like wait until you were ready to share that perspective, but give us something that we still also need to shed light on, like homelessness and things that affect our community. So we can't wait to see that. I'm kind of excited about that one. Let's see, what other questions do I have? Let's see. Do you have any personal favorite couples featured on Black Gay Weddings? Have you seen any, or people that you know?
Yes. First of all, I love everybody. I have always dreamed of a beautiful wedding, right? Like my friend, I am the Carrie Bradshaw.
Are you?
Yeah, and like down to the T. Like I used to write a love and relationship column for Essence. All of it. I am definitely Carrie Bradshaw. And so I've always dreamed of getting married at the Plaza Hotel, like having the ceremony in Central Park and then having the reception at the Plaza. So I am enamored by the post on Black Gay Weddings. But I have three that are my favorite, right? Okay. And so one is this couple, and I looked on the post for their name. It's a female couple, and they got married in Marseille, France. And I love France, and it looks so regal, but at the same time really chic and modern and like very Black, and they were just gorgeous, gorgeous ladies. And then there was Richard and Daniel, who got married in Barcelona. And I love Barcelona, one of my favorite places. Like I have an intention on spending some considerable time living there, right?
Okay.
I actually was going to do it this year, but then, hi, Rona. She changed a lot of our plans, right?
Right.
And then my final one was Juma and Andrew. And there was something about just first of all, they fine, and no offense to either one of you, but y'all both fine. And there was something about their pictures that it captivated me, and they just seemed really, really in love, like so many of the people did. So those are I couldn't narrow it down to one. So those are my three.
No, that's great. I'm sure the couples will appreciate it too. I mean, all of the couples that I think they choose to, the team chooses to highlight are amazing and beautiful, and everybody's special day is so important. But I think it's just something so regal about each of the couples that they choose, and the way and the meticulous planning and everything, and the perfect shots. All of that comes across really well with the stuff that they put on the platform. Would you say that you're more of a traditionalist or a modernist when it comes to weddings?
I'm probably a traditionalist when it comes to weddings. I have, now that I live in Los Angeles, I have toyed with the fact or the idea of like doing a beach wedding in the sand and that kind of thing. But like I said, my dream is to get married in Central Park and then have a reception in the Plaza. And you don't get much more traditional than that. But yeah, I'm a traditionalist.
Okay. Okay.
It's so funny because in my aesthetic when it comes to homes and architecture and stuff like that is very modern. But when it comes to everything else, like social stuff, I'm very traditional and conservative, which really surprises people often because they think that, I have a big personality. And so they think that, everything is kind of wacky, but really traditional. Yeah. When it comes to stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Now, in planning your own wedding, you've given us a few, tidbits on where you would like to have it and specifics of that nature. But what are the top 5 things you must have for your wedding?
So I definitely want a jumping the broom moment.
Ooh, okay, that is very traditional.
Yes. I definitely want the stages. So I want an engagement party. I want a bachelor party. I want a full-on rehearsal dinner at someplace nice. I mean, I want the whole 9 yards, because I've waited a long, long time, and I intend to, when I get married, that it's one and done, right? So I want the big full shebang, right? So that's another aspect. Then I love classical music, and I love gospel music, and I love jazz. And so those elements have to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form. So like classical music during the ceremony, jazz band. And then, another aspect is we got to get down and have a good time.
Yeah.
I want to be sweating by the end of it.
Like you worked for all of the things that you set up for. So absolutely. That's totally understandable. Now, most people, some people may remember you, and a lot of us from our community remember that as in one of your acting moments, you were a child of Jennifer Lewis in Dirty Laundry. Mm-hmm. And so if you were that character, how do you think he would respond to Letty, his mother, having a wedding, getting married? Do you think she would come around? Do you think she wouldn't come around? Do you think it would be a big to-do because of how her character, like how do you think she would respond?
So Aunt Lettuce, if Peanut, his name was Cousin Peanut, because he's the steal, he was the thief. I think if Cousin Peanut were gay and he came out at this point, that was Dirty Laundry was 2006. So that was 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, damn. It was 14 years ago. And we would pray that Letty has evolved. So many of us have evolved. I mean, so many of our families have evolved. Dirty Laundry was instrumental in so many Black families having a conversation about it just to begin with. So we hope that she would have, tasted some of the medicine of the film and evolved. But if she had, it would be over the top. Everything was matching, and it would be so Southern corny. But I'm sure she'd be happy.
Yeah. If
it was the real person, definitely will be at my wedding and will be happy.
Yes, she will. Yes, she will. I think that you hit on something I think is really interesting, being that Dirty Laundry was so long ago, and I think it has been instrumental in helping those of us in the community kind of relay the conversation or begin the conversation with our family members. How does it feel to be a part of some iconic, films like that? Obviously, your experience with Dirty Laundry, my experience with The Skinny in its form and its fashion. Talk about a little bit how it's been to be a part of those iconic films, even the content that you create as well.
Well, it's really, truly what we do it for, is impact. And I think the best entertainment, the best art really transcends thought and moves people forward. And so for this, particularly films like Dirty Laundry and The Ski Trip, and for them to have such an enduring relevance to the community, and to hear people like yourself come and say thank you for doing that, because it allowed me to do this with my family, or allowed me to feel more comfortable in my skin, is a hallelujah praise moment. Because Lord knows it wasn't easy. Back then there weren't many people doing what we were doing. There was my dear friend Patrick Ian Polk and kind of us, and we had to trailblaze, and that's not hard. I mean, that's not easy. But now I feel really fulfilled, because years later you have like the Lena Wakes, and you have the Justin Simeons and the Stephen Canals, and it's just a plethora of people just out there doing it and living out loud and telling our stories unapologetically. It's like a proud papa moment, and I'm trying to get back in on get some of that too. It's like, well, we started it, let's get us some too. So it's wonderful, man. Like, it's really just, you couldn't ask for a bigger blessing to be able to create for a living. Sustain it, and then actually have people watch it and have it impact their lives. God is just unstoppable and amazing. So it's a great feeling.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned some projects that you have coming up. Just tell us a little bit in depth, if you can, a little bit about what other projects you have that you're working on that we should look out for, that we should, connect with. I
just sold a show to a network. That one I can't talk about much, but it was good. It's my first network sale, so that's amazing. I have a show, a puppet show. It was a show starring a puppet. Got Talent, which we are developing and shopping it around now.
She's hilarious, by the way. I've seen her as well.
Thank you. Wait till you see. She's just getting started. She is a mess. Never call her a puppet. And then, like I said, I am writing a series based on my novel, Ladies Who Lunch and Love, which should, start making its rounds soon. And then my film, It Can Be Done, Ending Homelessness in America, it will be out this fall.
Awesome. And then the last film that you did prior to that with Nick Few.
Yes.
Was, remind me of the name, forgive me.
It's called Burden.
Yes, that's also something I think people should check out when they can. Is it available for them to?
Yeah, well, we're doing our first of all, Nick is my male muse. He was in 90 Days, and then now he's in Burden. And we love Nick. Don't we love him? I mean, he's an amazing actor. He's gorgeous. He's kind. He's a vegan. I won't hold that against him. But in any event, Burden, we're doing a global Diversity Awareness Month event on October 22nd. And we're going to be on 3 different platforms. We're going to be on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and LinkedIn Live with amazing moderators like Keith Boykin, amazing panelists like Nick, Dr. Angela Anderson, Marion Brooks, Marsha Bonner. I mean, just the list goes on and on. Their pedigree is just, I don't even have to participate in the panels. They're so good. But we'll be publicizing that on my page, but that's open to everyone. And that's our first kind of open to everyone event, because we've been making the corporate and festival rounds, even though I didn't really create the film for film festivals. I created it as a diversity and inclusion tool for companies and organizations. But yeah, October 22nd, that's a Thursday, all day long. We're going to be hosting on 3 different platforms, live screenings, and they're open to everyone.
Awesome. And tell everyone where they can find you so that they can support you in that aspect, where your handles.
Well, you know, my favorite platform these days is Instagram. I'm one of those people. I love to see the happiness. Give me only the slice of the best of your life. There's so much misery and pain in the world. I don't need to see that. I don't want to see that. I want to see you looking fabulous, doing fabulous things with all the filters you want to put on there, all the, exercise. Give me all of that. So Instagram is my favorite social media platform, and it's Nathan H. Williams. I'm also on Twitter. That's when I'm ranting about politics and praying that none of my clients, cut me off. And that's Nathan H. Williams as well. So those are the best 2 places. And then my website for my company is www.iN-Hale.com.
All right. Awesome. Well, Nathan, thank you so much. It has been an incredible opportunity to sit with you on behalf of the guys over at Black Gay Weddings. We appreciate you taking this time out for us. And we're going to send it over back to the studio.
Well, thank you so much. It was truly my pleasure. I wish you all the best with this platform and the launch. Keep, highlighting our love stories. It really is revolutionary.
Awesome. Thank you.